Hey everybody, welcome to another live question and answer. We have pretty lively comments, I think, from YouTube and from Facebook, which we'll talk about in a little while. I did want to do some usual business with the channel. Right now we're currently on the YouTube, we're filming a multi-part club chair video, which is coming out nice. But what you have to remember on the YouTube videos, if this is your first time watching and you've not subscribed, definitely do that. If you've not checked out the online classes, definitely do that. Because with the YouTube videos, and I think I mentioned this, with just me upholstering and talking a little bit, I'll tell you, it's fast moving, and I think the camera angles, can you shut that off, Pat? So you can see it's a live upholstery shop. The compressor goes off, somebody could be knocking on the door, you never know what's going to happen here. But So the difference between the YouTube channel and the online classes for people who are trying to learn, I think is pretty significant. Significant enough that we have to charge for the online classes because they take so darn long to do, and also just the filming and the editing, the two-part process at least. Editing takes as long as the filming. It really is. Michaela was doing a lot of that today, right, Michaela?
Hey, Lucas.
Yep.
So Patrick, Lucas has just joined us, and we had a very lively show last week. And I tell you, when that happens, I'm really encouraged to keep this going, because it means that people care enough to check into the live classes and maybe learn a little bit here, and then the information we give other information like the Facebook page, which has been like really helpful for people, with help from other people who maybe are the same stage of upholstering, same level of upholstering, or even more advanced than you, or the more advanced people. Please continue to answer questions, because we love it. And Jimmy is a big part of that. He's one of the administrators. Is Jimmy joined us yet, Patrick?
Yeah.
Well, if Jimmy's out there, come and join us. So I think today when I was filming, I think what part were we on now with the club chair, Patrick?
Number 6.
So we're part 6, so if I can just review it, we do this over, this one here has been taking us a little longer, because they do take long, the A to Z's, because, the course of, there's the chair.
There's the chair.
In the
right
course
there.
of, trying to get work done and waiting on customers, et cetera, sometimes it's extended, but if I remembered, we went through the whole process. We're just to catch you up where we are. And Patrick's posted at least 3 of them, right, Patrick?
Yeah, but it's been a while since we posted those, so I gotta catch up.
So
I don't know members of them.
It gets really interesting. There are good tips there that I mentioned, on the YouTube. We have people who just exclusively watch the YouTube channel, and that's it. They don't go on Facebook. They don't go on the online classes. They don't purchase through the store. And I do encourage you guys to purchase through our store at Upholstery on Broadway, because it really is a good way of supporting what we're trying to do, which is promoting the industry and trying to really, I think we're the best recyclers out there. We have to be. I mean, when you think about disposing, and people do this all the time, it really gets me. They'll dispose of a perfectly good sofa that could be reupholstered and at least one of the life out of it, possibly depending on the quality. These pieces can be heirloom pieces to a family. And I mean, we could be upholstering for 100 years on some pieces of furniture. Even some of the what you might consider subpar furniture can be rescued. And we have a couple of people who have taken that to heart, watched me do repair work, and they're out there. Blair comes to mind, Patrick. He's out there. He bought himself a trailer. I don't know if you've been keeping up with Blair on Facebook, Patrick.
No.
Because he's not really posting, I don't think, on the on our Facebook, but on his own, which is fine. But he's kind of like out there on the road. He's taken his show on the road, Patrick.
Wow.
And he's got a trailer. He's got a nice little SUV that pulls it, and he does repair work. It's a sofa, chair, upholstery repair work, and he also gets into the wood work. So he does that on site a lot of times. So I think that's great. I think it depends on where you are in your life and how old you are. If you've got the energy, that's a fantastic way to jumpstart a business. So if you guys are interested in that, you should check out Blair and see what he's doing. But I think anybody can start a small repair business, repairing. Let's say you'll know enough just watching the YouTube channel to do repair work. And we offer on the website Upholstery on Broadway, don't we offer repair kits, Patrick, for somebody that's watching this and it's just the first timer and that's all they want to do is repair a sofa or a chair at home? we have the capability of, with the supplies that we offer, to do that, for people to do that.
Yeah, I think we could always, we even have more ideas for those kits. We could come up with a bunch more kits if we wanted to.
Yeah, and I just wanted to briefly mention, is Daphne on there, Patrick? Because
I'm not sure if she's on, but we got her submission that we're going to cover.
she came, we'll get to her, but she came, and I got a chance to meet one of my YouTube people, and she signed up for the Facebook page, and also a supporter with some supplies that she bought. So I had a chance to meet her. It was nice to meet somebody as she describes herself as a newbie, and I think she's got a really good enthusiasm, which I really like. But anyhow, so I think I covered everything. Oh, the subscribers, Patrick, how many? Were we nearing a number that's significant? Or?
Almost 17.
17,000. They tell me that's good. Everybody says, oh, that's good. I saw a BU student. I went into a Starbucks and was talking to a BU student who's taking film, Patrick, at BU, and I mentioned my channel. And I told her some of the statistics, and she thought that was really good. But everybody I talked
Daphne
to...
is in the chat. Hi, Daphne.
What's that?
Daphne, hello.
Hi, Daphne. How you doing? Nice
Randy,
to meet you the
hello.
other day in
Let me catch
person.
up here.
Deborah, hello.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So I'm going to... If there's not a question right off the bat, Patrick, I think I'm going to get going on the YouTube, okay? So... number one comes from Richard, and it's the Upholstery Show Live. I love when people comment on the show, Patrick. I get a kick out of that. Richard said he just subscribed to the channel. I've been in the upholstery business for over 45 years. Almost, that's about how long I've been in. And I enjoy the information and even learn something once in a while. And Richard, I bet if you had a YouTube channel, I'm not sure if he does or not, I bet I would feel the same way. I bet I could watch Richard or any other upholsterer and learn things from them. And I think that's the nice thing about this business. I remember there was one argument in an upholstery shop with a really good upholsterer. This guy was really good, young guy, younger guy than his mentor. And the mentor were arguing one day about how to do something. And the finished product on both of these people was spot on, was really good, A1, professional. And how they get there, he was arguing, what difference does it make how I get to that, meaning a finished piece of furniture that was beautiful, and how you get to it and how I get to it. You know, his point was, you know, and I mention this a lot of times in the videos, Patrick, that everybody has their style, right? There's certain styles. In upholstery, it's even more. It's not like cutting wood or building, you know, dovetail, you know, joints on a table. There's one cut and that's it. In upholstery, you can have your signature. Your signature can be in the chair, you know. And I tell the story about my own mentor that I found. I knew exactly as soon as I walked in the house that he had done this project, and sure enough, I took it apart. I saw his handwriting on the inside of the piece. So, you know, this is true. Anyhow. Thank you, Richard. Those are kind words from Rich. I really appreciate that, especially from a fellow, you know, upholsterer. I really appreciate that. So we go on to the art of spitting tacks. This is actually, this little video that I did this before I lost a molar back here. So if you have a gap between your teeth and you decide, do not spit tacks. Because what happens is the tacks go in your cheek behind your teeth, right? And you always know where the tacks are. If you have a hole, if you have a molar gone, you don't know, you can't keep track of the tacks. And when we learn how to spit tacks, we pick one side. Most people just pick one side of it's either the left cheek or the right cheek. With my case, it was the left cheek. I lost the left molar and could never spit tacks again because I didn't want to swallow a tack. That would be bad. But anyhow, let's see what Nose Art Guy. I don't know. That's who it is, Patrick.
Interesting.
He says, or she says, not sure, I just ordered a CS Osborne. It's got the split end that is magnetized. I was expecting the bigger end to be magnetized. I'm stretching some massive acoustical decorative panels in a historic courthouse I'm helping to restore. Currently, staples are approved, but I may be persuading them to do tacks for a more genuine hair look. Okay. I don't plan on spitting tacks, laugh out loud. They might not want you to do that anyhow in this day and age with the right, Patrick? I don't know if people should be spitting anything these days. You can't do it anyhow. You got to wear a mask, right, Patrick?
I mean, even before, I thought that was crazy. I would have probably swallowed one and been dead. But
well, you know what the remedy is. I would give you the remedy for all you guys who.
Can't even. That makes me my skin crawl.
You have to swallow a golf ball size of cotton. And then what happens is the tack will wrap around the cotton, and then I don't have to go into any more detail, do I, Patrick?
No,
that's it. That's it. We won't say anything else. It makes it a little easier, if you know what I mean. So I don't plan on spinning tacks, laugh out loud anyway. So what you do, set the tack and then flip the hammer around to drive it home, exactly. The magnetic end of a hammer was exclusively used for people to put up to their mouth and roll the tack and get the magnetic hammer to hold the tack, and then you set the tack and then you flip the hammer side over and hammer it the rest of the way, because you do not want to hammer with your magnetic end of your hammer because it will destroy the magnet, right? That's what he's asking. The Upholstery Show Live, this is from Blue Monsieur, I guess. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but anyhow. Platform rocker, typically spring seat, question mark. Platform rocker, it depends. If he's talking about a modern platform rocker, usually they're just rubber webbing and a loose cushion, those ones. If he's talking about an older one, sometimes they're mostly zigzag springs, I think, in those. I'm not sure about coil springs in platform. Yeah, Eastlake. Eastlake would have coil springs, sure. Sure, the copper springs, as a matter of fact, depending on how old it is. But anyhow, we go on to the next one, unless there's questions or comments, Patrick?
Let's see, Randy, I remember there's always more than one way to accomplish a task. Yes.
So Randy's agreeing with me as far as being a professional upholsterer, and he's got his style, I got mine.
I also, sorry, I didn't cut you off. I want to thank Randy for getting the book. He loves the book. He thinks it was very informational.
Oh, great.
Because I do have that is available on our YouTube channel store.
Want to tell people about that, Patrick?
Yes, the book only, by digital download. I think it's only $25. But that is available. It's not on our site because we couldn't find a good way for that file to be downloaded on there.
So that's the one with the illustrations, right?
That's the book by itself.
With the illustrations.
But I think the next step is to get that video, Randy. But he's good enough. He's pretty good. So.
Now the book, Patrick, I'm asking Patrick, on the book, that has the illustrations, right?
Right. We added some pictures in there on the new copy.
Yeah.
And if he wants to check out, I know he probably already knows we have the video available to accompany that. But
I think it depends on what type of learner you are. You know, my objection to any type of workplace that's training people is that I've seen these shows. I don't know if you guys have ever seen those shows, Undercover Boss, where the boss goes in and he's critiquing managers and people who work for him, and most of the times I don't know if they don't recognize the CEO of the company. Let's say I watch it and what I find is the managers, they just have one style of teaching, and it's not good. It's usually the information is given fast. If you don't get it the first time, that's too bad, and there's a lot of discouragement along the way. You know, I've heard people calling, managers are calling people trying to learn stupid and everything else. That's no way of teaching people how to do anything, right, Patrick? Yeah. So I think with the way we do it, I think because of my past, I've got some experience with this. I think that the material we present, that's why I really love Richard and Randy to comment in a positive way, because I think they're two people who get it.
You've had in the past questions about why experienced upholsterers are coming on. And
I often wonder why they would go on my channel.
But it's nice to hear that he sounded very level-headed.
I appreciate that, because we've had upholsterers that, Patrick doesn't like sometimes the negative comments.
I don't care. I think you're the one that...
I don't care either. But there was one, we've never removed a video, have we?
No.
And we could, to polish ourselves up a little bit, remove some of the videos, especially the beginning ones, right, Patrick?
I think it's cool to have those, because when I go on a channel, I look back, I want to see where they started off to where they are now.
You do.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's cool.
But even the shaky camera and the goofy jokes that we did, and honestly, I've mentioned this before on the YouTube channel, we started out being a little goofy, because you were younger,
right.
And really, did I
I still like doing that stuff, though.
I know, but we've matured. We like a fine wine, though, Patrick.
Yeah, right.
The humor is a little bit more
Just
class.
ask Jimmy.
Anyhow, so we at one point I said to Patrick, we started getting these really positive comments, like, and calls and emails from people. And one really struck me was a single mother who 2 kids, and she was supplementing an income with Upholstery based on the YouTube channel. And I said, we need to get a little bit more serious here. If people are relying on us. So we did, we did, but that's not to say we don't like to, we do like to have fun, though.
Yeah, Daphne says she likes the goofy jokes. I can't
That's
stop
good,
completely.
that's good.
I don't think it's possible.
It's like holding back the tide, right, Patrick?
Exactly. It gets worse if you hold back. I'll explode out at once.
Yeah, right.
And there'll be no information.
Right. Caning to upholstery conversion. I thought that was a good one. Upholstery, preserve your caning, I said. Upholstering and preserving your caning. Mary says, the seat on your chair is flat. The chair I want to cover has a curved bottom. What do I need to do differently? The chair I want to cover has a curved bottom. So I'm not sure what she means by that. But if she has a cane chair, keep in mind, caning is the height of the chair is made. That's it. It's to the caning. The appropriate seating is to the cane. Now, some cane chairs are older, and we were smaller. The average person, believe it or not, and we get some furniture like 1820, let's say, and the average person was the male was probably 5'5", and the female was probably 5'1". So, of course, the furniture was downscale. Anybody who goes to Fenway Park in Boston knows some people can't even fit their fanny in those seats, right, Patrick?
No, and they got smaller, I think, too.
Well, no, that's what people say. They'll say that. You got a guy that's been going to Fenway Park for many years, and he says, "Hey, these seats are getting smaller." Is it really?
Well, it's actually true. At TD Garden, they actually did make the seats smaller.
Not at Fenway Park, Patrick.
Not at Fenway, but at TD Garden.
It's the other way around. It's the person's getting bigger, sitting in the small seats.
Yeah.
Well, let's be nice. We as a society, on a whole, are getting bigger, right, Patrick?
Yeah, taller too, not just wide.
Where's it going to end? We're all going to be 9-footers someday, right? Taller, right, Patrick?
Yeah, be nice about it.
We're nice. So Kathy, she says, pricing in the upholstery business. That was another popular video, Patrick.
Technically, we do that every Q&A now. So if you want to see more of the pricing,
that's exactly right, and the reason that's important is because we're dealing in real-time economics. I mean, I'm not going to win a Nobel Prize for economics, but I got to tell you, owning a small business, which this is my bread and butter. I support people through this business. It's the only thing I do. Let me tell you, I really have to pay attention to what's going on in the world, and oftentimes I'm shifting my business to accommodate what's happening in the world. Like right now, we're faced with a little bit of shortages, and gasoline prices are going up. People are starting to get a little skittish with some of the estimates that I'm given. So we have a meeting every once in a while. Should we continue to do what we're doing the way we're doing it, or should we go down in our prices? We've made those decisions in the past to go down or up. Either way, if the economy's doing good, it's the other way. But you really have to have a pulse on what's going on. And I have a stack of invoices at the shop, which I'm going to have to. By the way, Michaela, remind me to bring these stack of jobs that we didn't get. That would be interesting. We should have it here in a corner and just bring them out and go through them to see, why didn't they use us? Was it something I said? Was it some smell that they smelled? Did they not like the presentation, my handwriting, or what?
Was it your eyes having cataracts?
Oh, right. Yeah, I had a customer tell me that. I had a string. I mean, I'm only human, right? I had a string of jobs that I got complaints on. Some were legitimate, some weren't. But hey, let's face it, we're only human. One I agreed with, but one of the customers says, I think you have cataracts. Anyhow. Kathy says, thanks so much, because she recognizes the effort that's put into these, right? So the second one, Patrick, any comments or People are just enjoying watching me. I can't believe that.
Yeah, let's get caught up here. So Steven says, it's spitting tacks. Not long ago, I watched a video from a manufacturer in the UK. I caught the worker spitting tacks. Hey, so it's still going on.
Oh, so really?
Yeah, it's surprising.
So there's a local program for all you local. What?
Randy said Kevin's hair was darker 10 years ago.
For sure.
At least you're still hanging on to it, though.
Yeah, I remember there was a couple of videos where I struggled in too, and I so you can't always pick, although right now, one of the changes we made is that if people want me to do the work, I need to sell the fabric with it. But back then, people would bring their own fabric. With one of these videos in particular, it was a really difficult fabric, no stretch in it. It had one of those laminated backings, and Randy knows what I mean, and Lucas probably knows what I mean. A laminated backing, and it was like, the light is on, Patrick, the red light.
Already?
Yeah.
Just change the battery.
Yeah, you're going to lose.
5 minutes.
We got 5 minutes of live broadcast, so
That's why we have 2 minutes.
Patrick is well prepared. Patrick has another battery in his hand, and it probably will only be going out for how long, Patrick? 2 seconds?
Everyone can time it.
So see how fast he is starting.
On the sun. Okay, well. Hey, you're back.
And that's another question and answer. We'll see you next week. Just joke.
Well, I would say Lucas was saying, I actually learned to blanket stitch from one of your earlier videos.
Tell me about it. Did you like it?
Not directly, but I followed your hands and figured it out. It was from the Alf Svensson chair. I remember him telling us about that.
Oh yeah, the really fancy chairs. Thank you, Lucas. I love hearing about things like that. That's a blanket stitch you can use in other places too, by the way. It's not just, when you learn a stitch or a slip knot or a particular knot or a back stitch or a hand stitch, there's at least 4 or 5 hand stitching that we do in upholstery, not many. And once you learn them all, you can apply them to other areas that are really useful. Like for instance, if you know how to do a slip knot and you're trying to double up on an edge roll, fox edging especially, they're really hard to stitch and hold or even pin in place. But you could take and do, at certain points, you could do a slip knot, and it really is beautiful to hold it while you do your blanket stitch. You know what I'm saying, Lucas? So once you learn these different stitching, you can use them in other places. What do we got, Patrick?
Phone call
For who? Patrick had to leave. He had an important phone call from somebody. Who knows?
Probably the car.
It's mysterious. Anyhow, so let's get going on this. Thank you, Lucas, for that comment. Now we got a comment about the Upholstery Show Live, another one. Just purchase the download of your fundamentals. This is Randy. Patrick just read this, I think. But he goes on in this, Randy. Just purchase the download of your Fundamentals of Upholstery book. It is a wealth of good, solid information, covers the basics well. It is a very good reference. Thank you for doing this. Well done and worth the dollars. Thank you, Randy. Randy's been one of our greatest supporters. I really appreciate that. Really appreciate the compliment. It's these things that keep it going, believe me, you guys. If I was sitting here and there was nobody commenting on YouTube videos or on the live show or the Facebook, I wouldn't be doing it because I wouldn't feel like it was useful at all. So thank you. Keep it coming. So the next, another comment on the Upholstery Show Live from Mary. Where can you get the pattern for the little workbenches you have? Patrick, we get this question asked us a lot, so.
Yeah, I said you should do your own, even though you're not a woodworker.
I didn't make.
Kevin's benches.
Yeah, I didn't make the benches. A quick answer would be Home Depot once in a while offers these horses. I don't like the ones at Home Depot because the spread on the bottom is too far and you're always tripping over them because you're working around a bench. You need to make sure that the space down here is not, that the Home Depot bench, if you look down here, Patrick, can you scan down here a little bit?
And you got them doubled up. It's not even
well,
a good example.
Hey, people would like this. Yeah. Look what I have here, you guys. So the cutting table has to be higher than your workbench. So I had these mini me horses made that sit on top. They straddle the regular size horse. But I'll just throw out some measurements. This is the important part, is the space on the bottom. Because if you put your bench, which is usually about a 4-foot by 4-foot bench on top of these, and you're working around on a chair, you don't want to be tripping on these. And the Home Depot ones, so these ones here, the spread on the bottom is 17. The Home Depot ones are about 24, which makes you be surprised the difference that makes. They're good solid horses though. The height is okay, but it's just the spread. So if you wanted to get the Home Depot ones, you could probably adjust them maybe. If you're any good with wood, you can adjust them. You have all the pieces there, you just bring it in. That's what I would recommend. It's the easy way of doing it. I just don't get into wood. I've usually had them made for me. So you can find a woodworker that will do that. And I think, didn't we give these measurements out on a video, Patrick, once? Thought we did.
No, we talked about that. I know you had I think Randy was the one, or somebody provided us with what they had. I don't think you ever...
Well, let me just give people the rest of the measurements then if they're interested in. So the height...
I know you've done it before. We've done it very recently.
Yeah.
We never seem to write it down when we do it. So
the height is 29 inches. The top piece width is 7 inches. The length, which is really important, is approximately 36 inches. And one of the key things, you guys, is to make sure that you build these lips in order for the furniture, when you're not using your board on top, sits inside so that it doesn't slide off and fall while you're working on it. So those are the important things. I think I got all of the measurements there. That's pretty much it.
yeah, Randy was the guy. Randy, I know you did, and we always seem to forget.
Yeah.
But
So
I want to go back to what Randy said. Getting a upholstery to talk about pricing is like pulling teeth. So we feel like we got to be honest. There's nothing to lose. Some people might not want to reveal their pricing, but we don't feel like that at all.
no, we share it with the
Proud
world.
of it, right?
We
Like-
share it with the world. But the thing is the reason they might be a little bit tentative is because they might not know. They're not sure. A lot of people get messed up with pricing because there's so many factors.
Is it that, or they could be a little bit shady in their business?
Well, I don't know.
We've nothing. We're completely honest, so we don't really have anything to lose from it.
It's an evolving. It's evolving too. It's even sometimes week to week. Really, literally week to week. Certainly month to month. But it's an evolving thing. That's probably why a lot of people are hesitant on giving prices because I've given out a price. 6 months later, the person comes with the invoice, and I say, hey, things have gone up a little bit, but sometimes I'll honor the price. But most people will respect if you have a 10 to 15% increase. But anything over that, they hammer a little bit. But I've honored old invoices too. It's just kind of a customer service thing because it's really important to me, good reviews. Right, Patrick? I mean, we like our good reviews, don't we? We earn those.
I don't know. It's
So you do things.
tough to get to that 5-star.
Well, we have
people.
24 5-star Yelp reviews, which I'm told is pretty good for our size business, which is good. We're proud of those. They're hard earned though. They're really hard earned. And there was another point I had there, but I forgot. So that she just says thank you for the pricing business. Hold on a second. I kind of lost myself. So let's see this flat. Okay, so we're on to the next ones, right?
Yep, let's see. All caught up here. Lucas used the vodka trick.
What's that?
Randy gave him last week.
The vodka trick.
Yeah, using vodka. Remember that?
Oh, for the what?
Yeah, I thought it was a joke, but it was real.
What
I think it was using it to
get rid of the smell.
get rid of a smell. I forget the exact thing they were talking about. Whether that was real. I thought it was a joke, but it was real.
What smell? What type of smell? I forget.
Yeah, I forgot to.
Maybe you can tell us again.
Yeah.
We'll have to look at our own live show. We never do that, by the way. You don't look at you don't look at old videos, do you, Pat?
Yeah, that's part of the reason why we've mentioned coconut fire about 30,000 times.
Anyhow, we're getting to you, Daphne. I know she's probably waiting because she's got a really good Facebook question that I think you guys are going to enjoy my answer, and I hope that our friends out there and our professional friends will agree with me. But I think I've got a really good answer to a problem that she has, so we're getting to that. But before we do that, there's one more comment on deconstruction of a dining room chair. I did that, but it chipped. This is from CPRH. I did that, but it chipped all around the back edge of the chair when I was pulling the staples. Do you have any idea how to repair that part of that edge of the wood? If you have any suggestions or video you can recommend, I would appreciate it. Thanks in advance. So let me see. I'm not sure what, if they're talking, they don't say, they're not happen to be on there, are they, Patrick?
Oh, guys,
This would be.
Sorry, I'm getting follow-ups here on our question.
Do you
I'll
want,
interrupt though. Sorry.
do you want to take care of that now?
Yeah, it's interesting to read this. Cause
Go ahead.
So it was to deodorize batting filling, and like it didn't work for Lucas because it was just too much.
Right.
So he replaced his foam. Okay, well, but I assume it could work for a less serious.
The only thing I know that works for sure, don't ask me how it works, I have no idea, and the people that told me about it, and I've witnessed it, couldn't even tell me. Or maybe they were keeping it as a guarded industrial secret, or is ozoning. There's a machine, it's called an ozone machine,
I've heard of that.
and you put it in a trailer, usually a trailer that is airtight, and they have a hose. They turn the machine on, I guess the ozone goes in, and it eliminates cat, mold, and smoke, to name a few. And it works, and also bug infestation, and it works, and nobody can tell me how it works, but it's very expensive. I think it's like $500 for every item or something like that. I don't think they go by the trailer full. I think they go by the item. So you might want to check that out. So CPRH on deconstruction, she doesn't, or he doesn't say if the veneer pulled out, because if it's the veneer, you're in trouble. You guys know that. Veneer on a table, for instance, a tabletop, you sand through veneer on a tabletop, forget it. You have to re-veneer, and re-veneering is a nightmare. It's very difficult. So if it's a re-veneer job, I don't know what to tell you, except that I've seen people take a razor blade and cut. They cut the straight edge on the veneer, and then they replace the veneer that's damaged, but they usually have to take a little bit above it to get the square out, and to get it to look, to blend in. I don't know if you guys know what I mean. As far as if it's the interior, if it's the non-finished part of the wood that's been damaged, believe it or not, you guys, there's a very simple solution. And we're going to be getting to this with some of our new videos, right, Patrick? Mm-hmm. The magic of cardboard tack tape, you guys. It may look like just cardboard tack tape, but it does much more than that. I mean, its main purpose is to give you nice straight edges. See, I'm smiling. I actually enjoy this, Patrick. When I know what I can do with this what I can do with this under the fabric, what we can do with this is we can restore wood by simply just bridging this with any gouging or gaps that you have in your wood before you put your fabric on or your foam. I mean, it gives you a really straight line. It's really remarkable. And there's many other uses, and we're going to get to that. We're going to start offering these little short videos with supplies. And Patrick thinks I need the visual with the supplies, but I think I could go down the index and talk about each one, which would be kind of boring for most people.
You want to see it in action.
Yeah, but we can't, it's funny, Patrick wants every action shot there is when it comes to every single supply. Are you kidding me? Do you know how long that'll take?
Yeah, we can do it.
I don't know. I think you might just get the verbiage or whatever you want to call it. All right, so this is Daphne's now. You guys are going to be interested. Do you have hers up there, Patrick?
Yep, I've been slacking on
Is it up there
today.
now? I'm going to read it if it's up there.
Yep, she is on there.
Do you
Just the
have?
zooming in of the pictures might be tough. I didn't get the individuals, but
I can hold this up to the camera too if
Yeah,
you
see
want.
some webbing. Maybe Daphne can make the webbing video for us.
So
That was our
Daph,
next one.
she did a great. No, I want you guys to notice one thing I see right off the bat. Right, is that she did her webbing. I want you guys to focus on the left pitch of the webbing up at the top. You see how that everybody will say, "Oh, she didn't square up the webbing up there." That's exactly the way it should look. And the bottom pieces that are slanted like that, exactly. The instinct. There's so many things she did right about this, and I'm wondering, did she get this from a video? She must have one of our videos, Patrick, because she's got this perfect. She's got a nice, she's got the main thing that she focused on with the webbing on the bottom, other than the obvious stuff, the webbing stretcher and the tacking and the amount of tacks. She's got one side folded, she's got 9 tacks. She used the webbing stretcher on the other side, she tacked it, and then she folded it back and got more tacks. The thing that is really important, other than those things, is leaving yourself a tack line. You see how nice tack line she has there, Patrick?
I just talk about looking at that far. I don't know. I have bad worse eyes.
You can't see it, Patrick, but it's exciting for me to see somebody that did it right.
Just
She
the way
did
that
it-
webbing is set up, it looks.
It's perfect. She's got it woven the right way. She started in the right spot. I know exactly that she did a great job, and I can even tell the tension is proper. She did a really good job. You should be proud of yourself, Daphne, because that's you know, you have to follow some of the rules. So let's get to what she's talking about here. So she says, I did the webbing on my project, but realized that the front rail is about 3/8 inches lower than the back rail. Seems like a piece of wood was added to support the front legs. See the last 2 pictures. Okay, see that? The webbing is tight, but there is a slight slope toward the front. Can I make up this by tying the back springs a bit tighter than the front springs? That would be the first thing that people would think about if they, in the problem-solving process. And I appreciate Daphne, and that's what she's doing as a newbie. She's trying to problem solve. But she has somebody like me who can tell her what the answer is. And you guys will be surprised at what I'm going to tell her. So then she goes on, or should I redo the 2 back? Do not redo them.
I left out some of that. Let me get the rest up for you.
Or should I redo the 2 back to front webbing straps and tack them to the inside of the front rail? Don't do that, so that the webbing is level. So,
See, I just want to add it. After that, it says, not sure how to do that unless I tack from the front and stretch to the back. That's the fold.
so here's one of the beautiful things about upholstery, right? First of all, 3/8 of an inch is not a lot, okay, but it is an inconsistency for sure. But what happens is, do not focus on that. Just go about your business with the spring tying as if that's not even there. Then what happens is, you can make up, as you're putting the layers on, you can make up the difference in any inconsistencies that the bottom had presented to you, like a 3/8 inch inconsistency, if you can see it. So I suggest that you take it up to do not adjust your spring tying though, because remember, when you tie springs, they have to be tied a certain way, and you can't adjust for anything that's happening in the frame. Does that make any sense? Because what you're doing ultimately, you want every spring to be working independently with 8 ties on it, but it's independently, they're not touching one another, they're working up and down, and those twines are tight. So you really can't do a loose twine anyway, you shouldn't. So don't let that focus or throw you off, that 3/8 inch that you're talking about. But then, as you're building it up, you have ways of adding or subtracting batting. So get the meat and bones in there, which is the webbing, which is the springs, which are the jute spring twine, 8-way tie, and then the burlap. And then maybe even, I'm not sure if you've got the rubberized horsehair, I'm not sure if you have that, or real horsehair, 1 layer first. Then at that point, you can start looking at to see how, even if it was affected, you may find that it didn't make a difference, that 3/8 inch. Because there's enough subjectiveness in what we do too, you know. I mean, it's not like you're cutting, 90-degree angle wood pieces that fit into, or plywood that has to be fit into a wall, whatever. This is a little art work too that goes on, so it's not perfect, I'll give you, for instance, because we have to stretch and pull fabric, if you look at a chair and you split it in half, simply being right-handed or left-handed is a disadvantage, or could cause discrepancies in the way the chair looks for a really trained eye. But that's, so what? What difference does that make? We're the only ones that see it, and we know. But if you see that 3/8 inch difference, for instance, at that point where you're at, let's say, the first layer of horsehair, you can add a little extra before the second horsehair goes on the layer, or batting, whatever the batting is, if it's cotton. You can add a little piece. You can incorporate a little piece to try to make up that difference. As long as the batting that you use is a good oomph batting, like horsehair, cotton, hay I don't recommend, but that type of thing, not Dacron. You can't use Dacron to do these type of, I call it a repair, whatever you want to call it, additives. So Daphne, I hope that answered your question. I thought that, if Randy wants to weigh in on that, I thought that was a terrific observation by Daphne, and I hope that I relieved her a little bit of the pressure of redoing that. And I think, we have a question, Patrick?
Yeah, from Denise. She said, "What is your recommendation on dealing with a customer's piece that might have critters?" Wow.
Ozone. I had two. I did a job, Patty. This first time I ever told this story, and it was a beautiful estate in a neighborhood of Boston, and it was a chair that was it wasn't outside, but it was in a greenhouse setting. If you can imagine, Patrick, this house and this estate, they had a living room that was part of the greenhouse.
Wow.
So you know what that means, don't you?
Oh,
a lot of critters.
Exactly.
And I took these two pieces to the shop, and I was appalled at what I found. I didn't know what they were. They weren't they weren't lice or anything, but they were like bugs. There's a lot of bugs in there. So I immediately wrapped them in plastic and took them to the ozone man, and put them in there, and it took care of the problem.
It kills everything.
Yeah.
What about all the leftover?
Well, it has to be cleaned out. It to be taken down to the frame. But the idea is you want to make sure everything's gone before you work on
Well,
it.
here's an interesting. They say the tiny bug came out of the wood. What if they're eating the wood and that's it, right?
No, the ozone will take care of it. If it's a termite, the ozone will take care of it. I have to say
Depends how
that.
bad it is, though. I mean,
Yeah, sometimes furniture has just lived its life, even if it's a fine piece of furniture that looks and it's old. And sometimes, I remember two rockers that came in. The customer brought these two rockers. They were this is very rare for us in upholstery. I don't see this a lot. The chairs were from the 1700s, the late 1700s. That's so unusual that a customer would have a chair in their possession that old. Two rockers. I couldn't do anything with this though. Even the woodworker said, no way. The wood was so far gone. It just lived its life, I don't know what she did with them. She took them back. I'm not sure if she. The only other thing I could tell her would be she could recreate them and she could reproduce them using the pieces that she brought me. It would be kind of nice. It would be expensive, but that was one of the options. So anyhow, next time I think what would be a good segment. We're going to get to Michaela's segment in a minute here, but I think what's going to be a good segment, especially I don't know if you guys have noticed the economy is turning a little bit. So I should mention that. The economy is turning, definitely. I think people are starting, at least in this part of the country, I see people starting to get a little skittish. Maybe Randy can weigh in on this, I'd like to know. Skittish with pricing. I'm getting a little smaller jobs, not the big jobs as much. So I see there's a little bit of a change. There's a little bit of a, I'm not blaming anybody, for sure. I'm not going to get political, right, Patrick?
No.
But it's just, it may not have anything to do with politics. It's just, it is what it is. And as a small business person, I'm probably the first person to see this. I have to have my pulse, like I mentioned before, on the economy in order to adjust. So I think it's going to be a great segment for all of you guys and girls who are trying to make a living with upholstery. My next segment, we've got to remember to bring the pile of invoices that I didn't get, the jobs that I didn't get. That might be interesting to present. It might help me a little bit too on moving forward. In a little bit of a down economy, not completely, but it is a little bit down, a little bit. So we'll see. So now I think what I'm going to do is open up my little folder here. I did want to do something new before we get to Michaela. I have subcontractors that help me out. And I have a couple of the invoices from my subcontractor that I wanted to read to you, and I'm going to give you the pricing that she gave me. So you get to a certain volume if you're by yourself where you need help. I mean, even with just sewing, and the idea is if you need somebody you identify somebody that's really good that knows how to do upholstery. I know a lot of people say that they can sew. They might be sewing clothes, but upholstery is a little different. You need, for instance, the machinery has to be a little heavier. So you do have to vet people. You still, even though they say in their grades they could be stitches, they're not seamstresses. There's a difference. Stitches are used to smaller, little finer materials and machinery. Stitches have bigger material, like upholsterers are stitches. A little bit, a little bit heavier work, and so sometimes the transition from one to the other isn't that great. So you need to identify or train somebody. And actually, if anybody out there is watching that just wants to exclusively stitch, team up with an upholsterer. They'll give you plenty of work. They'll love you if your pricing is right. They'll use you, and they'll help them streamline projects out. I mean, most upholsterers like me, I do my own sewing. I can do my own sewing, but sometimes that gets overwhelming, Like, for instance, this next one. So I have my subcontractor. She's got 11 cushions for a sectional. That is a lot of cushions, right, Patrick?
Wow.
And on the same invoice, skirt panels for 6 armless chairs. That's a lot of work. And then a modern blueback bolster cushion. And so she charged me for all that $9.25. But for instance, let's try to figure out the hourly wage on that, right? Just quickly, right? 11 cushions at $500. That's $50 a cushion, right, Patrick?
Mm-hmm.
$50 a cushion. And then the skirt panels, she charged $400 for that.
I'm just going to say yes because I have no idea.
50.
That asked me to do now.
I'm just trying to figure out.
Job.
I should know. I would say her. I think she's in about $40 to $50 an hour, which is good for somebody working out of their basement, right, Patrick? Actually, you know what? I should figure this out in a more honest fashion. Hold on a second here. So that's $1,000, and how long did it take her to earn that $1,000? Cushions usually take me. A big cushion, probably an hour and a half, 1.5 hours each. Some people get it down to an hour, but when you think about the cutting and the putting together the zipper, the piping, the boxing, the top and the bottom, and the actual sewing, come on, it's about 1.5. So, that is 15 hours there. The skirt panels for one skirt, 2 hours. So she had 6 of them, that's 12 hours. And then for that other cushion, 2 hours. So we're up to 27. We're up to 30 hours, let's say, of work. So 30 into $1,000. Can you figure that out, somebody? Sorry, Michaela. I'm putting Michaela on the spot. 30 into 1,000.
That's 33.3 continuous.
$33 an hour. So what that means if you're thinking about doing this, if you're a stitcher, you have no overhead. That's the number. You might think 33. First of all, some people. I mean, I think those big companies, Amazon's offering $20 an hour, and everybody was good jumping up and down. Well, this is $33 an hour, right? And no overhead. I mean, of course, you got to figure out your taxes and things like that for sure. And your income tax and everything, but $33 an hour gross is not bad. Now, but this is somebody, I'll tell you, this is a person that is good, and she's been doing it for a long time. And her hour, this 30 hours that I just figured out, is a good speed. I don't think you're going to find too many people that are speedier than that. But that's what happens when you've been doing it for a long time and you get good. You get good and fast, hopefully. So we set the price. This is interesting because I've never done this. I did it live, Michaela. I've never worked out my subcontractor's hourly rate, and now we just figured it out. Let's see if it holds true. So the next one is 6 small seat cushions. So what these are probably like dining room chair pads, and she's charged $210 each for those. 6 of them. That's a pretty good price. I'm happy with these prices, trust me. And then we have a job that I gave, would be extra blue velvet cushion for a love seat, 6 velvet slip covers for a dining room chair. Wow. Think about that, you guys. 6 velvet slip covers for dining room chairs. Those would be Parson chairs. $1,050. Now, really, that's, to me, is a good price. I mean, then, of course, I upcharge that to try to make a little money. Now, normally, if you're gonna hire somebody that's a subcontractor, and I guess this is probably, I'm giving Randy, I don't know if Randy has subcontractors or Lucas, but you want the subcontractor to be at least half of what you're getting paid. You need to make at least 50% on them at least. If you're digging into that 50% either way, with your profit, I mean, you might have to re-examine that. But this is good, you know, these are good. What this meant is I could streamline the business, because you get, what happens when you get busy, you can't tell people 12 to 14 weeks or 16 weeks. If I had to do every cushion or skirt, I think I would probably be about 16 weeks out. And I tell you, people are not going to wait. They'll move on. Even if they like you, they'll move on. It's just too long. I mean, I'm hearing a lot of complaints in the manufactured business world of new furniture when they're saying now 30 weeks sometimes. Forget it. You know, I mean, I don't know why people would wait that long for anything. Not especially, you know, where we're used to getting things fast. Pandemic, people sometimes don't even care. They just want their furniture when they want it. So I would say that a really good, healthy upholstery business with subcontractors going and a full-time upholsterer or two, you shouldn't be any more than 8 weeks out. I usually say 6 to 8. Start saying 8 to 10, you know, it gets a little, and forget about 10 to 12. So even 10 to 12 is a long time in the upholstery world. And you know, you could argue that, hey, this is a lot of hard work, there's a lot of labor, et cetera, but not to the customer who hasn't done this work. They're not really, even people who say, hey, I'm not in a hurry. So the people who say they're not in a hurry, okay, you kind of shuffle around a little bit, and then sure enough, at about that 6th week, they call. How's my project doing? Even people who are patient and say they're not in a hurry, they want their job when they want it. Right, Pat? So it's one of the elements of owning a small business, but I could go on and on and on about all the different balls in the air that I have that, you know, one falls, you just got to keep them all going, really. There's a fluid motion in a small business, and a lot of it has to do with customer service is another thing. You can give too much customer service too. You got to be careful of that, but you have to be polite and courteous. I mean, people don't want to be mistreated, and sometimes explanations are needed as to why you can't do a certain job or why it took longer than it did. You always want to try to be honest with that. But anyhow,
Interesting. Randy is a subcontractor for somebody else. That's interesting.
That's interesting.
He's on the other side. You can maybe talk about that.
Yeah, so that's interesting. I've been in that position. So I've been, as far as business goes, I've worked exclusively in a clothes shop for designers, meaning no retail business. They don't want you to do retail business. And the thing about that is they do all the legwork. But designers, you're adding a second person to the equation. You got the customer, and then now you got the designer. So you got two people who potentially could be unhappy. And that's a tough world, but I did it for many years. I was working in a shop to do it. I'm in the retail business now. I've been in a clothes shop, not a clothes shop, but a shop where I'm training people how to upholster, and we were actually getting paid for some of the work. I did that for 4 years. So I've been in a lot of different positions in the business, and as a subcontractor for sure, like Randy for sure. And now I'm giving work to subcontractors. So it's been a crazy ride. I mean, I probably would have been better off just focusing on one thing in the beginning and sticking with it, but I've been all over the place. So, but that's okay. I think that's good for experience, right, Patrick? So let's get to Michaela's. We have some live estimates that we have to catch up on, and we've got a few of them. So, and I think people have responded positively to this segment. For all you guys who maybe are just doing work for yourselves, I still think this segment could be useful as far as when you put a price and hours to a job. I think from that perspective, it might be helpful for you to know how long something might take you. If you're new like Daphne, and obviously you're not going to be as fast as me, you have to kind of add on to the hours a little bit. be realistic with that. But I have no idea how fast certain people are, so you know what I'm saying. So you got the, do I need my phone to do this? Is that how we're doing it?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's start with some of the estimates that we have going on. So
So that first one, that, no reply, first one should be Audrey.
I got a Facebook one. Ben, did you get that one?
No.
Never mind then. I had hold on. I'm not even in the right place. Sorry, guys. Martin, what's that? Oh, never mind.
That was the temple.
Let's talk about that. That's actually a good. So this is a local. It was going to be a commercial job. Every once in a while, I'll put a bid in for a job for a temple. This was a temple. This would be considered commercial work, and I was attracted to this because it was a lot of work. I was thinking this would be kind of nice around the holidays to do this. So, warning about commercial work. If you're not exclusively a commercial upholsterer, this is a world this is a tough world that you would enter as a commercial upholsterer, let me tell you. I can do it. I've done it in the past. I can keep up with the best of us, but there's so many elements to commercial work. One of them is you work in restaurants. And restaurants, as you know, they extend payments. Some of them are 90 days, some of them are on the edge already, and they're getting paid after the job is done might be a little difficult. That's a problem, right? Big problem. The competition is a little tighter for commercial business, but anyhow, we're smart enough not to put too much up. We could have presented this job with a 3 or 4 page estimate that would have taken us about 5 hours to do. But no, I was very cautious with this one, right? We gave the estimate in an email, which we told them we would, and if there's further questions, please feel free to call. But we weren't going to waste our time. We can't waste our time, right, Michaela? So as it turns out, they're not even doing the job, right? They got rid of all the upholstered benches that they have, which I think was foolish. I think it's a foolish thing they did. Threw them all out, and they got all these chairs like this. Uncomfortable chairs like this. This thing's killing my back. So I think they made a mistake, but they voted on it, and that was it. So I'm glad we didn't spend any more time on it. So I guess that's the point. Mm-hmm. So let's go down to Audrey.
Yes, Audrey is the first one.
So I'm going to hold this up. What is that? Looks like a cushion.
Yeah, she says 2 pillow cushions need recovered.
Not a big job, but sometimes the big jobs turn into... the small jobs turn into big jobs. Let's see what I can do. Hold on a second. I lost her again, brother. This is not making good television. Sorry, you guys. What's the difference between television and YouTube, Patrick? Nothing, right?
In this case, nothing. You're live.
How many live shows are on TV now?
The news.
Yeah, that's true. But they're
news program.
But they're professionals.
The shows you watch live is like The Voice live.
The Voice is live.
So yeah, that's some of the stuff that's live.
The Voice is live?
Sometimes, yeah. Not the entire show, but parts of it.
I lost that. But anyhow, so there are 2 cushions. We get $125 each for labor on those, and we also need to estimate how many yards. So we'll say 1.5 yards per cushion. They're just pillows. They look like they're just lumbar pillows. I can't get the picture right now, but that's all they are. So that it's a small job, but hey, I had somebody come in with a small job that turned into a sectional sofa. I think some people just kind of try you out first on something small to see how you would handle it or how you would treat them. A lot of people, people don't want to be mistreated. I'll tell you a story. I may have told it last week, but it's worth telling. Never judge a book by its cover in sales. Of course, this is a whole other, this is part of the whole small business thing, right? I learned a long time ago not to do that. Really, sincerely not do that. Used car salesmen make this mistake a lot. I think they make it a lot. where they sum somebody up by just their appearance. You shouldn't do that. But I had somebody come in to the shop and treated them just like I treat anybody else. And she said, "I'm going to give you the job because I just came from another upholsterer who didn't think I had the money." She said that. She said, they treated me like I didn't have any money. And she came to me. Of course, money wasn't an issue at all with her. So really, you know, guys, don't. I mean, I know my people wouldn't do that, but I try to train my own people not to do that. And even if you don't get a job, a lot of times people come in, I don't get the work, but you never know what seeds you plant. Even at all those invoices I have at the shop, you don't know the seeds that you planted. They might have told somebody else that did work to you. You never know. So it's very important to treat people the way you want to be treated. I mean, it's pretty simple, right? What's the next one?
The next one is in that same email chain. Be Judy.
Judy. Okay, I'm on there. Oh, okay, I got it.
Lucas, yeah, my dad knows about that.
Who?
He said, I stay away from designers. I want everything heavily discounted.
Well, that's another thing.
We've definitely experienced that.
I'll tell you, designers are really good at making money, and I often, I don't know. They're really good at identifying really good people who work for less than what they're worth, and I know it sounds crazy, but a lot of people who are very talented, sometimes we're artists. See, the thing about it, right, Patrick, is that upholsterers, they're part artists, definitely, and an artist never knows their true value, I think. Maybe Michaela can weigh in on this. It's tricky, isn't it? I mean, your artwork is just, it comes from your soul too, There's another issue. That's why people get so passionate about, right, Patrick?
Yeah.
But designers are really good at they talk to one another, and when they find somebody, they keep them who are making the money. And the designers I know, I remember one time, I was in this shop, and we were struggling every week. We had goals that we had to meet. If we didn't make the goal, we had to work late nights to make the goal. And we were getting a modest paycheck. And it was kind of for me, it was I was learning how to upholster, so it had some value there too, so I stuck in there. It was hard work. But I remember this one designer, we did work for like 12 designers. We had a really good client base of designers. And it was like this, what Lucas or Randy just said about how they're always after you with the money. Oh, you got to do it for less than that. I'm not barely making any money. Well, one designer, Patrick, now this is a few years ago. This is like 30 years ago. And I'm thinking, she's making this, we're upholstering for her, and she's upcharging something. I never knew what, but I remembered I saw a checkbook. Guess how much she had in her checkbook? She made the mistake I could read it. I couldn't believe it. Guess how much?
What?
Just in a checkbook, $72,000. That was a lot of money. That was back then, that was a lot of money. And I'm thinking to myself, she's really doing good with our hard work, But, this is what it's about, right? Capitalism, right, Patrick? Good for her if she can do it. I mean, she was giving us a steady supply of work. And the problem with the person who owned the shop is that they weren't a people person. So that's a problem. If you're not a people person, you have to work for somebody that in this business, you need to be a people person. Really do. So that was the problem. But good for her for making money, making all the money off of us, right, Patrick? Okay, what's the next one?
Judy.
She has 3, what is it? You want to read it?
3 kitchen stools with seats that need recovering. They are 16 inches in diameter.
Oh, our old friend Faux Leather has landed again with all their broken promises. Right, Patrick?
Yeah, I have that picture.
Did you send that picture?
My chair just went out on
my son, he wore through a faux leather chair in like 6 months. You should see it. But we're going to say not faux leather. We'll do fabric for you. We'll do a Nanotex, fabric that's water repellent or whatever she wants. $125 each. And you could tell her 0.75 or 3/4 of a yard each, just to make sure, because I don't have measurements, I don't think. I have measurements, but just say 3/4 each.
You said 175?
125.
And how many, I'm sure she wants to do all of them in the same fabric, so how much total?
That's true, because people don't know how to do the math. 2.5 yards for 3, just say. Here's an interesting one coming up if it's the next one. Is the next one this Truman, the architect?
Yes, that is that one.
So, architects, I love professional architects, right? But sometimes they just overthink things, and I always get these schematics that I don't do good reading schematics. That's just not the world I live in. It's a one-dimensional world that architects live in. I know they're building three-dimensional wonderful things, but most of the time is looking at stuff like this. Look, I get sent this. I know it's an overhead view, but there's a lot of numbers and arrows in there. When it really is just simple. Just tell me how many cushions you need, what the width is, what the depth is, and how thick you want them, and what you want to use for the interior. I think most other architects can appreciate this, or designers even. Designers are good too, because a lot of designers have some architectural background behind them. They could work with something like that. I can too, but I'll probably ask Michaela to help me with this one because.
All right. Well, I will read it.
Yeah, why don't you read it?
She says, we are working on a project out on the Cape and would like to request a quote for upholstered sofa plus ottoman cushions in the attic space. Plans and dimensions attached. Please see remaining info. Please provide fabric yardage needed. Fabric options are 54 inches wide with no repeat. No welt. Taut seat and back, no tufting. Pillow fill. We are looking for a comfortable, moderately squishy feel. Can you confirm the infill type / density you'd suggest for this? Please let me know if there's anything else you need, information you need for the quote.
Yeah, she says, one of the things that I'm a little confused about, she says it's an upholstered sofa, but it looks to me like a built-in. She didn't mention that it was a built-in. She didn't say it was a built-in.
Yeah.
So usually people will say built-in, so I'm confused already. And it's in the attic, so you wonder, custom sofa. See, these are the things, you have to be an interpreter sometimes. They know what they're talking about, but they don't relay it sometimes very well. And it's not being relayed to me very well here. Because it's complicated, it's over complicated. They've overcomplicated this. So when I need you to say it, reply to her.
Well, hold on. To me, it looks like, because she has it written out here.
Yeah.
Let's see. She says 2 seat cushions.
Okay.
6 inches.
6 by 2 and 75.
Yeah, by 3 inches. All right, so 2, 4. So it looks like 4 seat cushions.
Do you understand those measurements?
Let's see. No, I don't.
I don't either. 4 foot, 1.5 inch. That's the thickness. But why? We need a conversation with her. But before we have see, this is the type of thing you get into, you guys. This is you're doing work before you even know you got the job. So if you guys want to work with architects and designers, and I've got a lot of experience. Sometimes you just need to talk to them, and then it's clear. But this is not clear at all. These measurements are a little odd. They need to be schooled on the measurements.
Yeah.
When you look at one of the things that I see, Michaela, is that when somebody breaks down an upholstery, when they start talking about 0.75 in upholstery,
I know.
my radar goes up because they got to be told we take 1/2 inch seams in upholstery, so most of what we're dealing with is half inches. It's the smallest you're dealing with. You're not dealing with 1/4 inch or 3/4 of an inch. No 1/4 inches in upholstery. It's not tailoring. Tailoring, you get down to smaller stitches, but upholstery's not like that. So, that is a warning sign for me. I can't have somebody take out a tape measure and start measuring at 2.75. I don't deal in that. It's just too much. So they need
Let's
go ahead.
see. It says
Very
it
confusing.
looks like 4 seat cushions. 2 regular back cushions, or 3 regular back cushions, and 2 arm/back cushions.
So she's calling this a custom sofa, right? The first thing, if you can reply to her, this is simple. Just reply, because this is just too mixed up, and it's typical, really. Reply to her, say, are we to understand that this is a built-in unit and that there is no upholstery under the cushions? Because I want to make that clear first, because we don't want to be doing in-house on the Cape. We can't do an in-house job on the Cape, which is, if you guys aren't familiar with where we are, we're in, metropolitan Boston. The Cape, it could be Provincetown. It could be a 3-hour drive from where we are. We're not gonna go down there unless they want to pay us a lot of money. But so you can say, first of all, you get that cleared up, and then once they make that clear, so this is a way we can test them. I hope this doesn't sound deceitful, but it's also opening up a dialogue and seeing if they're serious. If they're serious and they have not canvassed the metropolitan area, we have over 200 upholsterers in the metropolitan area and more, if you can believe that. And the reason I know that, close to 300 that we know of that are legitimate upholsterers. And the reason I know that, and I'm not bragging, right, Patrick?
Mm-hmm.
People are funny. I'm not bragging, but we won Best of Boston in 2018, right, Patrick?
Yes.
So we would have people, I would smile, to somebody like a kind of like nobody, you would say, even to a friend, oh, we won Best of Boston. The first thing they said, well, one person said, well, how many upholsterers could there be? I said, there are 300 upholsterers in Boston. Oh, really? Yeah. Well, what kind of an award is that? I said, it's a very good award. They vet you. They have 3 people come and check you out. They call you. They email you to see this type of response of what it's going to be. And they have a judge. They have 3 judges that people go and present their findings to, who judge you. So there's a big vetting process. Yeah, it's a big deal, and we're very proud to get that, right, Patrick? So we should all be so lucky. Every upholsterer, I don't know what they have out where Randy is or other parts of the country, but this Best of Boston in Massachusetts or Boston is really it can be a really gold star for any business. So we're proud of that, and we worked hard for that. Well, tell us why not brag a little bit. So what we're doing with this email is just clarifying a little bit, right, Michaela? You're going to send that, right?
Yeah, just as is.
Just say no.
Are we to understand that this is a built-in unit with no upholstery under the cushions?
Yes.
That's it.
And these are loose cushions. You can say, and we understand these are all loose cushions. Okay, and now they'll come back if we don't hear from them. That means that they canvassed the greater Boston area and found out the best response or whatever, and that's the end of it. And if they do get back to us, then it's going to be a phone call, right?
Yeah.
A definite phone call, because there has to be some education on my end on that one. That's a big job. I'd love to get it, but it's also an architectural designer job that requires top-notch work. So, and the other thing I haven't even gotten to in this email is the cushioning. Cushioning, I could talk to you for all day long on cushioning, but I don't want to bore you guys. Half of you are asleep already, right, Patrick? Are you seeing somebody in the comments section? They fell asleep on their keyboard.
Yeah,
their
they keep pressing the same button.
Their forehead has hit the E. And there's a few of those, right, Patrick?
Now, people are enjoying. Ready? Do you belong to a local chamber of commerce or something like that?
I'm laughing because who said that?
Randy.
Randy, when I first started 40 years ago, that was kind of what you did. You joined the chamber. You join if you belong. Like, I'm Catholic, so you belong to the Knights of Columbus. Any civic organization, even if they conflict with one another, and oftentimes they do, you join. Because that was the way they networked. We don't have to do that anymore, do we, Patrick?
Oh.
We really
Easier.
don't. It's you have to really take your time that you're not upholstering and use it wisely. I happen to have an IT genius as a son, and his girlfriend who's really good at editing and presenting us well on these online classes and all kinds of other things like she's doing now that make me look really good and frees me up to do the work. So we all have a job to do, but that's kind of an old-fashioned, no offense to the Chamber of Commerce because they do good work. But for my type, I think if you're an insurance person or in one of those businesses, it's good. It's good. But for me, I think it would be a waste of time for my business. You ready for the next one, Michaela?
Yeah, the next one is Maria.
Let me get out of this. I can't even get out of this one. I'm in the attic I'm still in the attic of that architect's house down the Cape. I can't get out. I've fallen and I can't get out. Right, Patrick?
Yeah.
Patrick's heard the old jokes again. He's going crazy. What's the next one?
Maria.
Maria Mill. Oh, I won't say the last name. Hey, you want to read that?
Good morning. I heard about your business via the rave reviews on Nextdoor.
There we go.
I have a daybed with a cushion that needs to be either repaired or replaced. I have attached photos for you. Might I schedule a time to bring it in?
So, this doesn't tell me anything. I'll show you guys. She's not talking about the throw pillows, right?
No.
She's talking about the seat cushion. Doesn't tell me much on it. Let's go to the next one. I mean, all I see is a white sheet there. It doesn't tell me anything. So, so here's another thing, guys. I don't have time to entertain every single person that wants an estimate at the shop. So a lot of this we're kind of doing this pre-work to avoid wasting everybody's time. I mean, I had people call and say, "Hey, I'll be right over. I got it all." I said, "Well, wait a minute before you come over. Let's try to give you an idea of what it's going to cost." I could tell you that almost every time in a situation like that, it's too much money and they don't come. Well, if they did come, it would be 45 minutes of my time because, again, you want to be polite, you want to be cordial, but it is, I could be there all day long just kind of, processing it like that. That's why this is where social media, the texting is so good. I mean, pictures, right? But I can't tell from this pitch. I usually can tell. So can you just let her know how would we handle this? I don't want her to bring it in because let's give her an idea of cost first. Let's do this. That's a beautiful day bed. You can say that if you want. But the cushioning on that is at least a 5-inch, we recommend spring and down cushion. So that's considered, you guys, an oversized cushion for me. And the price on that is $1,400 for the cushion. We highly recommend the top of the line spring down cushion on that. And in addition, I'll let you catch up. You see what I'm doing, you guys? I'm trying to give the information. I'm trying to give her an idea what the cost is before she brings the cushion down, because I think she might have sticker shock. I could tell you, though, she's got a beautiful antique day bed there. She doesn't want to put foam. She doesn't want to put a slab of 6-inch or 8-inch foam in there. She wants a nice, it's probably sat on a lot. She probably uses it as a day bed. That means that she can use it as a bed. She doesn't want to mess around with the comfort level. I'm sure what's in there was probably a comfortable cushion. And in addition, she needs 6 yards of fabric. Make it 8 yards. I just want to make sure we cover ourselves. Okay? So you can get, you guys, this is interesting. You can get any type of project there. I went from a temple, a Jewish temple, where I estimated commercial work to this day bed, to little too small, lumbar cushions, and everything. I mean, everything under the sun. You wouldn't think there's so many soft furnishings out there, but there is. Wing chairs, club chairs, side chairs, Queen Anne chairs, King Edward, King Henry. Did I say King Henry? I didn't mean that.
You said 6 yards?
6 yards. We'll go 6 to 8 yards. Anyhow, I don't know if King Henry VIII had any furniture named after him, but I hope not. Maybe somebody can comment on that. How are we doing on comments, Patrick?
Oh, really good.
And how long have we gone?
I was starting to get tired here.
So-
An hour and 30 minutes.
Wow.
So I'm just giving the price for the cushion on this. We don't know labor yet because of the picture.
Oh, good thinking, Michaela. So Michaela just really caught me. I almost made a mistake. The 1,400 is just for the cushion. The labor on that is additional. There's 3 components on this one. The labor, you got labor, cushioning, and yardage. The yardage we don't know, but we know the yardage, but we don't know the price. So they need at least the other 2 estimates, and Michaela just realized that we forgot the labor. So the labor on that, Michaela, it's a big cushion, huge cushion, is going to be $525.
Okay.
How did I come up with that? Well, I just read my subcontractor who's going to charge me. It's going to take her, if that's the case, right? She's going to take 4 hours or 5 hours for that, or 6 hours, 6, 12, 18, 24. $240 she's going to charge me to make it, and I'm charging $525, so I'm about that 50%. See how fast you got to be, you guys. Come on, you guys got to get with it, right? And you really have to be quick on your. I mean, we're not even talking to the customer directly, but if we got to that point in the old days, that's why I'm so good at this, because it was spontaneous like that in somebody's house. You would be talking to them, writing it down, going back and forth, blah, blah, blah. They want a bottom line. They want no nonsense. You got to give it to them the bottom line. If you don't give a bottom line, they're thinking, and I don't blame them. They're thinking that you're kind of a little shifty. You gotta just say your number. That's. I think, what was it Randy was saying before, Patrick, where somebody was so guarded about giving pricing. Mm-hmm. I think it's more like they're afraid. You'd be surprised how many people are afraid just to give the price. Just spit it out. Give the price.
No, stand by it, right?
Yeah, stand by it. That's really important to stand by it. You can't. I've never called a customer and said, this is more work than I would have liked, and it took more time. So therefore, I'm going to charge you more. No way. I would not. I don't like that when that's done to me.
Or even the opposite. The opposite doesn't happen to us. But you never charge less if you think you messed up, or you always stand by.
Always stand by your pricing. And like I said earlier, sometimes I stand by 6-month-old pricing too. I mean, it's just part of the. I think it's part of the customer service element, and we are in a community, so we want to present ourselves well in a community, and we're finding out. With the pandemic, with all the businesses that are closing around me, especially restaurants, how important small business is, no matter what they're telling you. Small business is the fiber and the backbone of any community, really. So Randy, and I know he's out of his garage, right, Patrick?
That still counts?
That still counts. He's part of the community. But when you have a brick and mortar store during this pandemic, and people would come by, I have the nice glass, windows, glass windows usually are glass, right, Patrick? And the lights are on at night, or I'm in there in the morning and they see me work. And you'd be surprised how comforting that is to a community. But anyhow, I think we're going to end it here. Unless you want to continue?
There is 3 more.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Might as well. You got to do it anyway.
Right.
People like this, so it's cool.
I hope I'm not. We're going over. This is the most we've ever done. I hope people are.
It's all information. This could be a video just by itself.
Right.
All right. So the name is Megan.
I got the day bed. I got the new quote here. I got Jen and Jennifer.
Yeah, Jen is one of them. The one above that.
Okay. Is Megan. Okay. And this is. You want to read it?
Yeah. It's a cover / replace black material on ottoman and chair cushions. Looking for a new fabric option. So it
Yeah.
looks like they don't want leather, which is good.
I'm glad. So here's the thing on this one, you guys. You see the stitch work on the back? I would try to discourage her from the interior stitching, which I can do, but manufacturers have the patterns and they usually get straighter lines than I can. I mean, I could do a good job on it, but I would recommend that if she's going to do fabric, she doesn't want the stitching anyhow, because you can't see the stitching through fabric most of the times anyhow. But this is a modern stickly furniture, which is kind of nice. So let's give an estimate. On the chair, we're going to say, I have no idea if those are fixed cushions. I'm assuming they're not.
Probably not.
So let's say on the chair, $625 labor. And on the ottoman, we're going to say $225. And so when you look at yardage, you guys, so break it down if you're not sure. I still do this actually. Let's say the seat's 1 yard, the back is 1.5 yards, and the outside back is 1 yard. So you're talking about 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, and then you add that one for 1/2 yard for 4 yards. But I would say 5 yards on that. So I kind of add a little bit on the yardage because I just don't know the exact dimensions, and I don't want to be cut short. Sometimes when I see a job up in person, I'll adjust the yardage. Not often. I'm usually pretty good with these estimates. You got that? Whew.
Yes.
This is work, you guys. Okay, next one.
All right, next one is that one right underneath
Jen?
it. Jen.
This is a better job, isn't it? Why don't you read it?
Hi, looking to put new fabric on 2 of these chairs. The stuffing is in good shape. I am also wondering if you offer upholstery classes. If so, I'd be interested. Thank you.
Upholstery classes we don't do anymore. But this is the chair. It's a full-size club chair. We're going to say $1,100 each for labor. That's just a reupholstery. I don't know if you want to support that. Just say $1,100. She's by saying, people. Human nature is funny. She's saying we don't need new cushioning and new stuffing, which is great information for me. But a lot of times people want, the better price. $1,100 is the bottom price on that. That's just labor. That's not new cushioning. And the yardage, she's going to need, I'd say 7 yards each, right, you guys? We were hearing good things about this segment, right, Patrick? It's worth it, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I want to bring those old estimates in that I didn't get. That would be interesting. Okay, so. Uh-oh.
All right, so then just the last one is Kate, right underneath that.
Okay, and is that the last one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. So she got back to us.
Oh, we already gave the estimate
Yeah,
for
we
that.
did give this estimate already, and she got back to us.
Okay, and what did she say? I think that's important. So we've answered her, and I think we said like $1,100. This is a club chair and an ottoman. So it's like $1,100 for the club and $425 for the ottoman and plus the fabric. Gave her the estimate, and now it's interesting to see maybe the follow-up to that.
Yeah, she says, good morning, a Sunday response. Thank you. I would like to do Arlington business, but we'll check with one other upholsterer to make sure the prices are reasonable. My main concern is to select fabric that can blend in with current living room colors. Navy, light blue, and yellow, but I'm planning a whole new living room in 2025, no yellow. Attached is a photo I took from Macy's website. It is my planned 2025 colors. The rug has the colors I'm looking for, fabric similar to mission chairs. Chairs seem to be super expensive. Mission chairs have visible wooden frames and only simple pillows. Is such heavy fabric possible for my chair?
Sure. So the follow-up was she received the estimate, and she's talking about her future plans, but yet she's going to get another estimate. So that's called competition, you guys, right, Patrick?
Mm-hmm.
And every business has competition, right? So she will go to another upholsterer to get a price, which is fine. So we'll hear back from her, I guess, right, Michaela?
Yeah.
All right, so we'll leave it like that. Is there any comments or questions, Patrick? that
No, I think
we
we're
should-
good. I mean,
Okay,
hopefully we didn't drag on too long for people.
I hope not. I know that that's a lot of information, though. I hope people appreciate it. I'm sure they do. We've heard from them that they do. So, well, thanks a lot, you guys. That's it for today. How long was that, Patrick?
That was an hour and 30 minutes.
Wow. So that was a long time. Usually we like to keep it at an hour.
Imagine if we had a million questions. We've been on it for 2 hours today.
Right,
In terms
right.
of YouTube questions.
Right. But thanks for everybody who participated.
Yeah, thanks, guys. That was another good week of participation.
Yeah, we
Always
really
fun.
appreciate that. And we'll see you next time. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.